Tigers' tempo will decide epic Alabama-Clemson rubber match. Clemson ran 99 plays against Alabama in a win a year ago, proving even the best defenses of all time get tired. If that happens again, the Tide will be in trouble. Deshaun Watson to Hunter Renfrow in the right corner of the end zone is now famous in college football lore. That play won Clemson a national championship and felled Nick Saban's attempt at 5 national titles in 10 years at Alabama. In the time since, especially heading into the two-team Sugar Bowl matchup, it's a moment that's been shown time and time again. But if you really want to know how Clemson captured its crown, you'd take a look at the 98 offensive snaps that came before the pitch and catch. Historically good is the only way to describe Alabama's defense in 2016. Yet even that group could not survive the 99-play up-tempo onslaught of the Tigers. Any defense that plays that many plays, you're going to get tired, said Alabama's senior linebacker Rashaan Evans. I mean, you're human. I don't care how in shape you are. If you play 100-play smash mouth like we are, it's going to take a toll. Evans, in that quote, provided the key to Alabama against Clemson in college football playoff semifinals, 7:45 p.m., ESPN. The Crimson Tide defense is again superb, ranking first in the country in both total defense and yards allowed per play. But, as Clemson showed a year ago in a 35-31 win, there is a blueprint to put a crack Alabama's armor: effective tempo. Smothered is the only way to describe Clemson's offense early in last year's national title game. Watson might have been the best quarterback in football, but the Tide defense held the Tigers to just 7 points. Yet in the second half, Alabama's offense couldn't stay on the field, converting just 2 of 15 third downs for the game. That led to the Crimson Tide defense taking shot after shot in the ribs. It held firm for a bit, but eventually those punches start to take their toll. Clemson scored 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns, turning a 17-7 Alabama lead into a loss. The 95 plays definitely had an effect, said Alabama redshirt sophomore linebacker Anthony Jennings. You go into a game prepared, but that's not something the team wants to deal with. It's exhausting. Over the years, one of the few ways to topple Alabama is to tire out the defense. It doesn't happen often, but teams that manage 70-plus effective offensive plays tend to find success against the Tide. Since Johnny Manziel led Texas A&M to an upset of the Tide in 2012, 13 teams have run 70-plus plays and played Alabama in a 2-possession game. Of Alabama's 7 losses in that stretch, 4 of those teams ran 70-plus plays. The 3 others, Auburn in 2013, Ole Miss in 2014 and 2015, ran at least 63 plays in their victory over the Tide. Not all teams that snap the ball quickly have found success against the Tide. Often those inflated snap counts come in blowouts, but those who do so effectively push Alabama at a high rate. As big, physical and fast as the Tide are, the only real way to make progress on offense is spreading the ball out wide and making them defend in space. Find a little success and add some tempo to that, and even the Crimson Tide's freak athletes have a hard time keeping up. Other teams are getting more physical, but there's also more speed, SEC Network analyst Tim Tebow told 247 Sports. There are more spread offenses with quarterbacks who can run and throw. They're spreading it out. That's what Clemson did a year ago, and it's what the Tigers do as well as anyone. 5 Clemson players have 50-plus carries this season and 9 players have 10-plus receptions. For years Alabama stayed fresh by cycling in waves of talented defenders. Clemson does this on the offensive end of the ball, and it causes a strain on the defense in terms of keeping up. I feel like that's why they have so much success, Evans said. Clemson won't use the exact same offensive approach that it did to beat Alabama a year ago. A new quarterback, Kelly Bryant, means the Tigers go about things in a different way. But, at least for Clemson, one offensive goal remains the same from week to week. Center Justin Falcinelli said when the Tigers get to 75 or 80 plays in a game they know they're doing well. Wide receiver Dean Cain, who had 94 yards receiving in last year's title game, calls it just wearing them out. They have a big stout front line, and you have to really stretch the field against them to get them tired, Cain said of Alabama. I really feel like last year was a great plan. That plan, pace, tempo and ball control, isn't going to change much in Part 3. That's what will decide this rubber match.